Chair calls the August 7th Stanley County Board of Education meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight. Thank you for coming. And without further ado, Chair will recognize Ms. Sherry Vaughn to do our invocation and pledge.
Lord, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion. Fill us with your grace as we make decisions that affect students, staff, faculty, and communities. And you continue to remind us that all that we do here today, all that we accomplish is for the pursuit of truth, for the greater glory of you, and for the service of humanity. We pray for understanding and peace for the Harvey family. Be with them through this difficult time, and we ask these things in your name. Amen.
Next item on the agenda, we have a request to address the board from Mr. John Mullis of Norwood. Mr. Mullis, before you start, I'd like to take the liberty of thanking you and the town of Norwood on behalf of the board for all the assistance y'all have provided in trying to resolve a lingering issue with us down there for a while. But anyway.
Thank you very much, Chairman Poole, members of the school board, Superintendent James, Attorney Louder. Thank you for allowing me to address you. I'm the town administrator of Norwood, and I know you have a full agenda, so I want to roll through this really quick. You do have the agenda packet with you. I do have a PowerPoint, so I'm just going to flip through that fairly quickly so our audience can get a handle on that. Before I do that, though, I do want to thank you for and share my deep appreciation to the school board, the service to the families and the teachers and the students that you do. And Dr. James, you're doing a wonderful job. Just my hat's off to you. I think the school board is headed in the right direction. You have a difficult task, but I really appreciate everyone on this board for working so hard. I'm here tonight more rather than the town administrator, but I also have state certifications in wastewater and wastewater collection. So I kind of wore that hat during this experiment. And as you know, there's been mysterious and random odors that's appeared in the lower section of Norwood Elementary. And the pattern doesn't seem to fit in any particular box. So I wanted to see if I could help and use the resources with the town of Norwood to see if we could help. And so we put together a project team that's in your packet, and on the board, experts from rural water was involved, local engineers, town and staff of Norwood, vendor partners, as well as Dr. James and Todd Bauer. So we ran some simulations to see if we could duplicate the problem, and if we could, we would address those issues. So you have some of the staff. I will say that rural water, Todd Bowers, Dr. James, Mayor Campbell, Pro Tem Campbell was involved, myself, two of my employees, Chris Locklear and Kyle Pilkins. We had the generosity of one of our vendors from Sumter, South Carolina, that drove up here with a $100,000+ brand new camera rig that we were able to leverage and get a good look at inside the lines, not only the public lines that the town has, but also the school lines from the point of discharge from the school as it exits to the leaving into the public system. So under certain conditions, the sewer gases escape into the interior portions of the elementary school. That's what we were trying to find. We attempted to recreate the odors using smoke testing devices. We cameraed the lines to the first manhole, trying to identify the source. And what we did, we went under the school and looked at the plumbing, and it's all brand new. It's in beautiful shape. We smoked the interior of the waste lines. We jetted all the sewer lines around that the town has that connect to the school, both on College Street and on Main Street. And we also were looking for the taps that come in from the gym side of the school, as well as the one tap that's the main lead into the one manhole at the school. We did notice with the camera inspection some minor buildup of grease. That could be a contributing factor, maybe rancid grease in certain conditions, but all the lines are completely clear and clean and look really good. No visible evidence of smoke was observed within the room of the interior. I went inside and my employees went inside. We went in every room that we could access. There were a few locked, but we let the smoke roll and roll and roll, and it was rolling out in a broken clean out at a house 3 or 4 houses down. There is a picture of that. So we feel like that the smoke test would have yielded something. Now, the only place we couldn't see is really in the ceiling. You know, if we run into this issue again, and of course, we're going to be on call. We run into this issue again, we want to get down there. The only possible area that we didn't look at, we looked at the bottom underneath. We looked in the rooms. The only thing left is a little small space between the ceiling until the vent stacks exit the building. So I've already covered that the slope of the waistlines were good. I don't see any reason flow would be impeded. It's just really in great shape. We didn't find any fractures or leaking pipes. The only evidence was the vent at the main stack, which it should roll. And we do have pictures of where the smoke was rolling. What is not uncommon for a vent stack to get blocked, and if a P-trap under a sink or a floor drain becomes dry, there's no water in there and will let the sewer gases out. So we would expect that if we'd had any dry vents or something, that would have shown up, but it didn't. So the main stack vent pipe truly was open and clear, so that was good news. So I think that because of and the water jetting that we used, we cleaned all of that. We've cleaned the manholes. The town has several hundred feet away. Mr. Bowers has done a very good job for the school in trying to identify this problem, and it is like a needle in a haystack. You have to just find that right opportunity of when the odor is present, and before you can find anything. I do think, as this slide indicates, I think Dr. James and Todd both have confirmed that when your air conditioning unit or heat and air unit is running, you have a negative pressure created because the air is sucking to that return, and consequently you're going to get airflow if you have any gaps, just like in your home. If you've had a forest fire nearby, you've smelt smoke in your home because air can get in. So the suspect is probably a few of the windows and a few of the door seals, maybe as a possible entry exit or entry point of infiltration in those conditions where maybe the wind is pulling down the right situation where the vent stack is operating as it should, but if you have odors that are coming out of that vent stack in the right condition, it could get sucked into the building. So if that happens again, we just need to get down there and look. What the town of Norwood is pledging to do is clean these public sewer lines every July when school's out. And while we're in that manhole, if we need to run up into your line, your connection, we're happy to do that. We are in the process of getting a newer camera ourselves, a push camera, so we can now look at some of these lines too. So we're happy to do that. Maybe just sealing up some doors and windows. But what I'd like to offer this board and to Superintendent James and Todd, anytime, I met the new principal yesterday, she's great, but anytime that we have any hint of an odor, please call me. I'm 500 feet away so I can get there and we can start looking around, because if this happens again, we want to be there. I'll just say in closing that we've made every attempt that we can to try to duplicate it, but it's just tough to do. But what we did do tells us that we don't have a problem there as far as the smoke and everything. I've got a few pictures in your package. Is a map. The little circle and the dotted line is the manhole to the right, and to the left is the tap that we did find coming out of the gym. All that looks good, no issues there. As you can see, they really did show up. Todd and Dr. James there with Steve Smith, or Sam Smith is with Chambers Engineering. We had him on site there for reference as well. This is the camera equipment, and I know that the one may be a little hard to see, but the camera head actually on the image on the right actually rotates and has a very strong LED light that will just light up a pipe, and you can see everything. Picture on the left is us looking in the pipes. You can see how clean we've gotten them from water jetting them. The image on the right is actually your tap that comes out from the gym. I was disappointed in that you never want to put a tap into a round pipe and it not be even. So when we go to jet this, we run into that problem, so we can't get the camera all the way through. So there is a device that we can cut that out, but I think it's draining well. We ran water while we were there out of the gym to make sure we had good flows, and drainage is good, so we're going to leave that alone. This is us getting into the pipe as he's getting ready, the image on the left, getting ready to insert the camera into the line, and then the image on the right is we're actually cameraing the line back into the school. The image on the left, you can barely see at the lower end of the green section, is the 6-inch PVC clean out, and that's new, and that's going down into the, so we cameraed the line both ways to get a good look. This is what happens when water and sewer guys see smoke. They all point to it on the left, but the image on the right is 4 or 5 houses down. So I wanted to show that impact, that the smoke is almost near Dollar General. So we flood the public sewer lines with smoke, call 911, let them know we're going to be there. So we definitely have smoke. The image on the left is just to show the device that is used to smoke a manhole. There's a liquid smoke that gets activated with air. But on the right is a very, very good slide to see. If you look closely, you'll see the smoke coming from the vent, and it's rolling, which is good. It's not obstructed, no squirrels or bird nests in the vents, which could have been a contributing factor. So we're very pleased to see that. The image on the right that you see is your 2 vent stacks. The one on the far right is the larger stack, and the one on the left has a Studer vent on it, which I think Todd had put that on there to try to maybe minimize the odors in that case. But the image on the left shows you where the location of the vent stack relative to the doorway. So your entranceway, if you happen to have a wind condition or pressures where that odor happens to be getting down, you can see how it could enter into the bathroom windows, or if that's a classroom, the windows on the right, or into the actual hallway of your school. The one on the left is just a visual picture of a manhole. Nothing exciting there, but just to show that it's very clean. The image on the right of cool smoke is just meant to show you, if you've seen a fire blowing in a winter wind, you've seen how wind will push smoke down on the ground. This would be the same thing as an invisible odor. So smoke could, or odors could go anywhere in a wind condition. So that's all I have. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer, because I know you got a long agenda.
Just to make a point, you know, barometric pressure is what pushes your changes,
Correct.
which pushes the smoke down, and it'd be interesting to know if there's some correlation between those smells showing up and drastic changes
Absolutely,
in
and I
barometric
think the pressure testing like that could be done if we run into it again. Removing the carpet, I think, was a very smart move, because those odors could permeate carpet just in an unusual situation. But this is typically an airborne odor, so it's going to happen. A manhole, we did change to a solid lid on the manhole. I think that's going to help. We had a manhole with probably 6-8 holes of 1 inch diameter. So you had a equivalent of a couple inch diameter vent stack a couple 100 feet from your doorway. So we put a solid lid on that. We're going to watch that and see if that helps. But the town of Norwood is committed. If it shows up again, we'll be there to see if we can help you resolve it, see if we can find it. So.
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Marks?
And I'm sorry I took a little longer, but I appreciate it.
Thank you very
Great,
much, sir.
thank you.
Okay, you have before you minutes for June 5th, regular meeting, and the 13th and the 20th and 28th special call meetings. Are there any changes or corrections need to be made to the minutes? If not, hearing none, the minutes will stand approved as presented, and we will go into committee reports. Instructional program, Ms. Gibson. Facilities, Mr. McIntyre.
No report.
Finance, Mr. McIntyre.
Yes, we had a finance committee meeting on August 1st, at which time we discussed child nutrition incentive pay, as well as the driver's education fee, and both of those will be presented as policy updates tonight.
Personnel, Ms. Watson.
No report.
Policy, Ms. Crump.
All right. Policy Committee has a book that we have reviewed, basically, and we had quite a few policies that from the last meeting we tabled for 30 days without the July meeting. It's actually been tabled for 60 days, and we've had time to review that. So now I think we dig in to see if we're going to go ahead and make these official.
The chair would suggest that if no one has a policy in particular that they want to pull and talk about, we just pass these as a block.
Okay.
If that's okay with the committee, okay with the board.
Does anyone have any policies in particular that you would like to pull? Any questions? Okay, Chairman Poole, would you like for me to read the policies out and the titles?
We'll give the numbers right quick, yes.
Okay, we're going to do them one at a time, or?
We'll just read through them all, we'll vote on all of them at one time.
Okay. New policy 2065, hearings before the board. New policy 4100, student discipline records. Policy code 2055, distribution of publications by non-school groups. Policy code 3197, substance abuse prevention education. And the code of student conduct. Policy 4090, student grievances. Exhibit code 4090E, Stanley County Schools grievance complaint form. Policy code 4095, maintenance review and release of student records.
Okay, all these are presented as a recommendation of the committee. Is there any discussion or questions? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Okay, motion passes. And the other group we'll vote on next month, is that correct?
We will. So the other group, you want me to go ahead and introduce those?
If you like, yes.
All right, the other group, we met on August the 1st at 6 o'clock, and we had several task force to get together and go over quite a few different, very important things. So I'm just going to run through those. New policy code 5540, performance-based child nutrition incentive. I think this is exciting. This is Stanley County Schools will implement a performance bonus system for cafeteria managers and employees beginning 2018-19 school year. If you turn the page there on the back, and on the next page you'll see a rubric that's designed for our cafeteria managers and assistant managers, and if they comply with that, they are also eligible for a bonus. The next policy code 2010, community use of facilities. This was outdated and we were losing money on this and really needed to be updated. So a task force got together and designed this to look much like other surrounding school systems. So, and this goes with it. It's the exhibit code 2010, application for community use of school facilities. So that's what our community members will fill out when they want to use one of our buildings. Policy code 4050, attendance. And this was designed to look more uniform across the entire county so that we have continuity among all schools with attendance policies. Policy code 4190, fundraising procedures. This is one that we tabled last time, made a change, so I think we've got it right now. Form code 41A, attachment, report of fundraising activity that goes along with it. Policy Code 4195, student fees, fines, and charges. That one's pretty brief. And then these are, this policy was put together by our nurses, thankfully. This is something that's going to change every single year, so we need to update it. Policy Code 5080, Bloodborne Pathogens Policy Guidelines and Exposure Control Plan. This is according to state standards. And then with it comes the Regulation Code 5080R, Bloodborne Pathogens Regulation and Procedure. And that's all.
Thank you, Mr. Crump. Just a comment for the public. I know the public likes to walk up to a board member and say, what's the policy on so-and-so? And with all these changes, you're probably going to let me go back and check to make sure that we get all these under our belt. Dr. James, you have Legislative Resource Network. Anything of note?
Yes, there is one important update that I would make the public aware of, and of course the board. I think you're already aware of this, but superintendents across the state noting again this year that we have a teacher shortage, had grave concerns about the testing that North Carolina has implemented to put teachers through the licensure process. That testing was taken over by Pearson Corporation about 2 or 3 years ago. Those tests are significantly harder, and the pass rate has dropped substantially for teachers, making it harder to become licensed. So a lateral entry teacher typically had up to 3 years to complete those tests and pass them to have continued employment. The state, realizing the shortage in teachers at the last minute before they adjourned, did pass legislation allowing a reprieve for 1 year. So we had about 6 teachers affected that are not on your packet again tonight, because Ms. Calvert will have to contact them individually and tell them they do have an additional year to complete those testing requirements. And again, good news for us, because it saves 6 potential teachers that we would have lost because of that. And my commitment to Ms. Calvert and our team and these teachers are, we're glad to help you, to reach out to us. We will try to work with you to get tutoring resources in effect, and we're working with other districts, other superintendents, because these tests are very rigorous and it appears very hard to pass. So we definitely want to work with our teachers to make sure in that 3-year window that they're able to get the support from us so they can pass these tests. It shouldn't be an impediment for them being able to teach our children. It's just another obstacle that's been put in their path that we need to help them overcome. I don't think it really has any effect on their credentialing or how well they teach in the classroom. It's just a huge hurdle that's been put in the way, and the rigor of the test has just grown significantly. And unfortunately, our colleges weren't prepared to prepare them for these tests ahead of time, so it was sort of dropped on us. So again, I'm excited to report that, and hopefully across our state it will save several thousand teachers.
Thank you, Dr. James. Curriculum and instruction, Mr. Poplin.
No reports at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Calvert.
I'd like to draw your attention to the updated personnel agenda that was put in your packets. Updates are made in red. Section 1 requires no action, and Section 2 requires action.
Move approval of Section 2.
Motion by Mr. McIntyre to approve Section 2. Do we have a second? Second, Ms. Gibson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed, no. Motion carries. I know we have a lot of red ink usually in August when we're trying to fill in our last spots
sir.
on the team. What are we looking like now as far as having a full contingent for the start of school?
We're looking very good. We have still a few more positions we need to fill, but in comparison to other years, it's not near as many vacancies as if we've had in the past. One milestone for us is our EC teachers. And we usually have a lot of EC teaching vacancies, and we have very few.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Auxiliary Services, Dr. James.
Auxiliary Services, I do want to send a shout out to all the support personnel that we have in our school system and to, of course, the Job Student Services does. It's been rather challenging the past few weeks on some things we've dealt with. But again, a big shout out to all the maintenance crews that fit under Auxiliary Services, Support Services, our custodial staffs that have done a phenomenal job. I would actually invite the community to visit our schools. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at some of the work that Mr. Bowers and his crew and the principals have done with their custodial staffs to make our buildings very presentable. I'm very proud of the work they have done, and I think we've got some schools that could be showcases. If you haven't driven by Albemarle High School, it was over there today, and it almost made me feel like I was on a college campus. It's just a lot of great work's done, so appreciate all those people that put time and effort into improving the looks of our facilities. We have a lot of work to get done before school starts, but I think there'll be a marked improvement in what our public has been accustomed to seeing, and that's I give the board accolades for that, because that was one of their charges to me, to do what we could to work together as a team to make sure that we're presenting schools that are the absolute best to attend in our county, whether it be aesthetically or educationally. So thank you for the board's support there. So again, I commend those individuals, and that's all I have to report this time.
Chair would like to add that it'd be worth your while to walk through East Albemarle School too. That's a tremendous change in the interior of it. No one has signed up for public comments, so Dr. James, you're up for superintendent comments.
Well, again, just to resound on top of all the appreciation for the hard work done, I will say we had our first International Baccalaureate Career Program night with Dr. Mann. There was about 30 some odd people here for that night. We're planning an additional night. We are posting Q&A on the website to keep the public updated on the questions that we get and the answers. So I think that's been a good response. I would also like to send a shout out to Sean Britt for the great work the technology department has done. We have a beautiful website. If you haven't been there, it's again, if you hadn't been to our central office, the door front, I don't think we could have done a better job of representing the diversity and students in our community than our door front. It actually looks so good. The county manager asked me if I would look at doing something with that brown section right on the side of the building to see if I could offset our building a little bit more. He said the door front looks remarkable. So again, appreciate the board's direction and support in getting some things done to make us first class. And we are going to be the best location for an education in Stanley County, I'll guarantee you. You cannot do better than what we're going to do. So that's my charge, and the board wants to make sure we're there, and we're going to get there sooner than later. But again, we'll be doing another IBCP night to get that out. I would like to report that we met with the dual immersion individuals. Matter of fact, I got an email from her today. We're looking forward to a partnership with them, because they also can provide, I know Ms. Crump and I have had this conversation, native language speakers in Spanish. And I will tell you, I'm not sure what's happening with our Spanish teachers, but they're becoming few and far between in the state, and that's a need we have. Our kids need the ability to be bilingual in the global economy we're in. And so we're working with Participate to make sure we can bring in Spanish teachers in the future and work with them to make sure we can fill some of our hard-to-fill slots. So it's a partnership we're building as another way to provide quality teachers for our students. And the dual immersion, had a great conversation. We'll be doing some information nights on that. We're looking at rolling that out at Indy, starting at Indy. That doesn't mean it's be the only place it will be. But just a lot of great things going on academically across our district. There seems to be a lot of excitement about the direction the board has taken and asked me to pursue. So again, look for more to come. Stay tuned is what the commercial always said. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. James. Board member comments. Ms. Vaughn, we'll start off with you.
I'd just like to congratulate Ms. Gibson for being selected to serve on the legislative committee of North Carolina School Board Association.
Dr. James, I believe you when you say that this is going to be the best county to be educated in. I'm not sure when you sleep, but I appreciate the work that you do. I was able to be present at the IB meeting the other night and was very impressed with Dr. Mann's command of the whole program. It makes me excited that we're going to have a program with this academic elevation in our county. And we're going to be doing that in 2 years. And just 1 year away, I'm excited that we're going to have the choice programs, the Arts Magnet, the AP Capstone program, the Medical Academy. There are so many wonderful things that are coming to this county. And so this year is going to be busy but wonderful. I want to say congratulations publicly to Christy Edwards, our Teacher of the Year. She sent a wonderful letter to all of us letting us know about her experience in China this summer for professional development. And so I'm really looking forward to hearing about her experience there. The website looks fantastic, and so do the campuses. Just driving around, just yesterday I was down in Norwood and saw tons of mulch, and it already looks so much better. So thank you to everyone who's working so hard. It's going to be a busy month. My thoughts and prayers are with all the people that are involved in making things happen.
I just want to say a thank you to Dr. James and all the staff that's helped prepare for the 18-19 school year. Speaking on the campuses, I drive by Albemarle High and East Elementary every single day, and those campuses have come a long way. They look great. Lastly, I just want to remind everyone to please keep Miss Georgia Harvey and her family in your thoughts and prayers.
Ms. Gibson.
I'm going to echo what Ms. Crump said. Thank you, Dr. James. I'm amazed with everything and so excited for this school system. Mr. Wallace, thank you so much for what you have done, and Mr. Bowers along with him and your team crawling in a manhole. Anyway, thank you so much for what you've done. And Mr. Bowers, as far as the grounds of the school and inside the schools, I really appreciate that. I think Coach Eric Davis has helped do some power washing and stuff, so a shout out to him as well. I spoke with Christy Ritchie. I still refer to her as Ritchie, but Christy Edwards. And I asked her if I could share her letter publicly with everyone that's here, her thank you that she sent to the board. And she said she would love for me to do that. So I'm going to read that letter. To the Stanley County Board of Education. I am honored to represent Stanley County Schools as the Teacher of the Year for 2017-18. I would like to personally thank each of you for the opportunity to participate in the Global Teachers to China 2018 Professional Development Program. This opportunity made a huge positive impact on me professionally and personally. The experiences that I shared with the Chinese student, educators, and citizens enabled me to view issues from new perspectives, and I cannot wait to share these with the students, faculty, and community of Stanley County Schools. A new fire has been lit within me to educate students and staff of cultural immersion opportunities to enhance global education. Networking opportunities were created with the best educators from all regions in North Carolina, as well as those we met in China. I have already been in contact with teachers and student teachers from China, collaborating about best practices and making plans for student-to-student contacts in the fall. The technological resources we explored at Lenovo were the final piece of the application component, and I want to share with teachers and students. This is the most powerful professional development experience in my 25 years as an educator. I sincerely thank you for the opportunity and would be honored to be considered for future global education experiences. Sincerely, Christy Ritchie Edwards. And I think she's planning to speak to us maybe in September, share some things and all. So that's exciting and all. And I just wanted to share that publicly with everybody.
No comment? like to ditto everything everyone has said, and also I hope everyone has had a really, really good summer. Enjoy the next couple weeks and get ready to start and have a good year. Thank you.
Chairman Poole, one item I forgot that is public record as of today. Currently, we have somewhere near $15 million in grants out. We were just notified in writing today that we were awarded a $1.2 million grant. It will go to help an after-school program that we're partnering with, and actually, I'm glad that Mr. Mullis is here. Grants, I guess that's, I've done them for so many years, I forget about them when we get them, but it takes partners like Norwood, like John Mullis, the YMCA, and other people to get grants. A lot of people wonder why you can't get grants. It takes a community that pulls together. If the grant providers see that, you have a much greater chance of being awarded money because they want to see the local impact of what teamwork can do. So I do want to send a shout out to Susan Brooks and my staff. I think I about run them ragged. Actually, some of them asked if I was running on 12-hour energy. But we do have a lot of grants out, but this is the first one to come in, and it's $1.2 million. It will help 250 kids after school for 3 years. So that will make a significant impact on this community. And again, I appreciate all the hard work from Susan Brooks, Danny, and the staff at Central Office, and all the people that we pulled in from the community to help us acquire this grant. I'm excited about it. I'm hoping for millions more to come in. So just wanted to mention that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. James. Stole part of my thunder there. It's okay. I was just going to thank John and Mr. Mullis again for coming in and making his presentation, and just reiterate what you were saying there. This is the epitome of what a community working together can do, and I'm excited about the coming year. And I know some of this stuff is being done as cosmetic, but it also has a positive effect on your mental state of mind when you're going into a place to learn. So I think it's going to be a good year. And I would just ask the staff in every school to concentrate on the positive this year. There'll be some negative things along the way. We'll work those out, but let's keep our focus on the positive things that we're doing, and I think we'll have a super good year. Next board meeting will be at Central Elementary School on Tuesday, September the 4th at 7 p.m. Do we have a motion to go into closed session for personnel matters under North Carolina General Statute 143, 318.11A6, and student matters North Carolina General Statute 143, 318.11A1, and attorney-client matters under North Carolina General Statute 143, 318.11A3. Motion by Mr. McIntyre. Do we have a second? Second by Ms. Watson. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Motion carries. Brief recess en route.